Hello, my name is Jonathan, and today I wanted to talk to you a little bit about how to craft your last chapter. Now, these are kind of my opinions on what I think you should do in order to make your... Oh, by the way, before I continue, I just wanted to say that I'm changing up the format a little bit. I moved some things around, and some of my lights are changed, and I wanted to be standing instead of sitting because I feel like I can be more expressive that way, and I don't know. I feel like I still, I don't know, I can just move around and do little things because I fidget a lot apparently. So we've already talked a little bit about endings, and if you want to see that video, the link's going to be down in the description. So we talked a little bit about how to craft a good ending and what kinds of endings we're talking about. But I wanted to be more specific and talk about the final chapter. Now, Knights Without Kings is a book that I published, and if you want to check that out, link's going to be down in the description. It is a dark fantasy novel with a character-driven narrative. And the last chapter is really close and dear to my heart. It was originally the last chapter was going to be the last chapter of Act 2, in which I thought the story was going to be a little bit shorter, but then I realized, I can't do that to the people that are reading it. I can't do it to my readers. I can't do it to the people that I'm intending my audience to be. So I extended it another 10 chapters or so, just so that I could make it a little bit more robust. The story would be a little bit stronger. And what ended up being the last chapter was a tough chapter to write, not because I didn't know what to do or how to write it, but because of its emotional strain that it would have on me as a writer. Now, if you haven't read it, I recommend that you do pick it up and you give it a look, but there is going to be some spoilers on the last chapter, obviously, since that's what we're talking about here. In this last chapter, Robin, who is Elemiah's love interest, has been mutilated. He lost his tongue and his eyes and was branded a traitor, and Elemiah as well was also branded a traitor, but instead of her being mutilated, she was put into the cage of binding, which is a cage with steel spikes, and thrown into the river to drown and die. And that was their form of execution. That's the Ivatarian form of execution. And she survives through a miraculous event, essentially something outside of her control, and so does Robin, incidentally. I think his toes were also cut, which would prevent him from walking long distances because he was banished out into the wilderness. So he was basically dead. There's no coming back from that. But Elemiah meets this demon, or he's really more of a summoner spirit. It's a spirit more accurately than it is a demon. And she makes a deal with him in exchange for her soul and a whole lot of other things. And he's essentially restored. So the last chapter is her going back to him and really happy because her love interest, the one who basically she had problems falling in love with at first, now she's completely head over heels for him, and she would do anything for him. And she's so excited. She's like, I got you your eyes back, I got you your tongue, you're back, you're whole again. She meets up with him in the boat. Basically, they were on a beach and they're going into a ship. They're going to go traveling. They're going to go south to where her father is from, where they're a safe haven away from the people that banished them. And he hates her now because of the pact that he made with that demon. He essentially spits on her and says, "You gave me my eyes back, but I cannot even bear to look at you anymore." And then he commits suicide by jumping off the edge of the ship. And there's a storm going on too, so there wasn't any real chance of him being alive. And so that was the point where I was like, I knew that he was going to reject everything, because the whole thing was giving a little bit of hope in exchange for much more pain. Because, in my personal life, that was the thing, is especially my previous relationship that I was in almost 4 or 5 years ago, was that I would do anything for this person, for this girl, but no matter what I did, I was always wrong, and it wouldn't end up the way I expected it to end up, even though I sacrificed something great. And so this person just walked out of my life and never to come back again. And that's how I saw that theme, was when Robin jumps over the edge of the ship. That's her walking out, and then she walks to the other edge of the ship knowing that there is nothing else to live for. I mean, she's lost her title, she's lost her command, she's lost her people, she's lost her friends, and now she's finally lost her lover after and she's lost her soul as well. So she's lost everything, absolutely everything. There isn't anything left to live for, so she wants to commit suicide too, and tries to jump off the ship as well, but her father basically stops her from doing that and makes her pass out by holding her and squeezing her hard, and then she passes out and all goes dark. And the last words of that chapter, the last sentences are, her father says, "It's okay, everything will be all right," and then I did a couple spaces and indentations, I say, "It never will be." So when I wrote this chapter, this was kind of from a place of darkness where I didn't feel there was going to be any healing, any form of relief. That was it. I'd lost everything, and I wanted this character to go through the same thing, kind of to give off that emotion, and so that this part, I mean, this last chapter was a little bit interesting for me to write, and so I'm only going in detail how I wrote all this to tell you that your ending should be that emotional. Don't do an ending for the sake of, well, it needs to be a cliffhanger, or it needs to be happy and go lucky and everything needs to be perfect. You should go in with a mindset of, this is the way I'm feeling it should be, so it's earned based on those feelings. You know, yes, my book came off a little bit as a cliffhanger because a lot of my friends and people that read the book say it's very cliffhanger-ish, and it's true. I didn't intend it to be that way because the story does continue on in the next. It basically picks up like a month after these events with these characters. So it's obviously that she does live, she does survive, but now it's that attitude of like, where does she go from here? What's going to happen to her? Is she going to still wallow in that misery, or is she going to come back somehow? These are all questions that I want the reader to be asking at the end of the book. So that's the same thing with your last chapter. You want your readers to be asking these questions. You know, you want them to be curious. Okay, you want them to like, hey, where's the next book? Where can I buy it? How long is it going to be till it's released? I've had those questions so many times. Just about every single one of my readers has asked, when is the next one coming out? And I have even a couple that are really mad at me that it's not out yet. And I have to tell them, be patient, it's okay, they will come out at some point. And even though they get mad at me, and this one person even started crying because of how frustrated this person was, and I'm like, okay, calm down, it's okay, everything's going to be fine, I promise you the next one will come out. And when I delayed the Twin Princes, which is the sequel to it, they were so scared that it never was going to come out. And I said, no, it is going to come out, I promise you, it's just going to be a while. So that's basically what I wanted to talk to you about, a little bit about the last chapter of my book. That's what was my ideas going on behind that. And so here's a couple of announcements that I want to do too. I want to start the series, and it's going to be basically the author's in detail commentary on every single chapter of my book, and that's 27 chapters, but I don't want to do a video per chapter. I want to do like 3 or 4 videos, or 3 or 4 chapters in one video, so that it won't be too long, or at least too extensive of a library, you know? I think that's what I will be doing within the next couple months. I will be just doing the web series, basically an in-depth commentary on each and every single chapter, and if you want to stick around for that, you know what to do. But if you haven't read it yet, it's going to be entirely we're going to be spoiling. We're going to go in every single detail. And if you haven't read the book and all you want to do is just watch the web series, that's fine too. I mean, you got to do what you want to do, you know. But I will be going in depth with every single detail and the ideas behind it and why I chose to do this certain element, why I chose to have this character die or live, things like that. And I'm really excited to do it, to show you my thought process throughout writing this story. And this is something that I want to do with every single book that I write. It's just an in-depth commentary by the author, me, and what I am trying to do with it. So also, I'm really sorry that Meg, the review, has been taking so long for me to write. I promise it will come out very soon. It'll probably be after the web series. But I mean, I've had a lot of things going on. I'm writing the third book in the Harmony of the Apostles trilogy. I'm editing the second book, and I'm also working on Aberwall, which is the first of a Victorian horror trilogy as well. So as you can see, and I also have a science fiction short stories that I'm just putting on the back burner that every once in a while I'll dabble in it, edit a little bit, maybe write a little bit more. But my main focus is on The Ashen Knight, which is the third book in the Harmony of the Apostles trilogy, and Aberwall. So I've been very busy, as you can tell. I mean, on top of that, I work full-time at a hospital. I work night shift. So all these things on top of that can sometimes just bog me down. But, I mean, I love doing it. I love doing this web series. I love writing. Writing is my absolute passion, if you can't already tell. I promise that that's kind of the schedule that I have for the next few months, is just the web series and then Meg, the book review. And then I think the movie comes out soon, so I do want to review that in light of the book. Alright, that's it for me, but you guys have a nice day, okay? And take it easy. Be safe out there, okay? It's a crazy world. A lot of bad people are doing terrible things, and it's kind of sad sometimes. I don't like watching the news or when people send me articles about things. There's this, my family's from Nicaragua, and there's a war that might be going on again, and it's kind of sad. My mom was a survivor from one of the wars there that happened when she was a girl, so it's really close to us and our family that these bad things are going down in Nicaragua, and there might be another war. So that's a little bit disheartening, but well, you know, lots of love and wishes to everyone in Nicaragua, and I hope that that's not the case. I hope it doesn't come to that. But anyways, have a nice day, and I'll talk to you on the next time, okay?
This is it.
See ya.
There are so many things I wanted to tell you.